What's going on there, Gotcha Gang? Kawaii50 here with another FGO video, here to talk with you about the most beloved 3-star servant of all time, and that is Okada Izou. We're going to be going over Okada Izou's stats, Okada Izou's abilities, and exactly how to make Okada Izou a very powerful staple of your team. There's plenty of reasons Okada was the most grailed servant of 2018 on JP server, and by the end of this video, you're gonna know why. So looking at Okada Izou's max attack and max HP, you're going to be getting 6,879 along with an 8,844 HP at his natural max level as a 3-star. Now, if you are willing to grail this man all the way like so many on JP have done, that is going to go up significantly to a 9,310 attack and a pretty solid 11,991 HP. All of these, pretty solid stats. I would highly recommend, even for gameplay purposes, to grail Okada to, at the bare minimum, 80. Bare minimum 80, 90 also fine. If you really love him, go all the way to 100. The choice is yours. Looking at some of Okada Izou's other stats, we've got a 0.79% NP gain per hit. He's got 2 quick cards, 2 arts cards, and 1 buster card. Those quick cards hit 4 times, and those arts cards hit 2 times, so he's going to get some big old gains off of this NP gain per hit. And as for his star generation, 25% star generation per hit, pretty solid on a 4-hit arts card, and he's got a 97 star absorption, pretty much par for the course for an assassin class character. Okada Izou only has 1 class skill, and it's pretty standard for all of your assassin type servants. Presence Concealment rank A increases his critical star drop rate by 10%. We want Okada to be generating those stars because we want Okada to be using those stars not only to deal more damage, but also to charge his Noble Phantasm, because he's got some really good potential for some insane NP loops, especially if he is the last servant standing. And those NP loops are going to deal a significant amount of damage, augmented by Okada's skills. Now, Okada's first skill is Manslayer rank A. Manslayer rank A gives him a special bonus damage against humanoids from a 50 to 100% bonus depending on the skill's level. It also raises Okada's critical strength for 1 turn. 20 to 30% boost on that, and the cooldown is actually pretty respectable at rank 10, going down to a mere 5 turns. This skill is what makes Okada the Manslayer. They really represented that super well in this. On top of that, do you know what's a humanoid character? Pretty much every single servant in the game. So Okada is going to be magnificently fitted into his assassin role. He's going to be assassinating all of them servants. Okada's second skill is Mind's Eye, and it's thankfully the Mind's Eye we want to see on him. Mind's Eye Fake, rank C, gives him an evade for 1 turn, giving him a little bit of that survivability we know he's going to need, especially if you haven't grailed him, because his HP is going to be pretty low. It also gives him yet another increase to his critical strength, this one for 3 turns, 16 to 32%. Now, if we are adding this together with his Manslayer skill, that is a whopping 62% bonus to critical damage. And with that 3-turn carryover on Mind's Eye Fake, even if you proc it simply for extra crit damage along with Manslayer, you're still gonna be getting extra crit damage out of that skill, and Okada is still gonna be dealing a boosted, respectable amount of damage, even while Manslayer is on its relatively short cooldown. And I know what you're thinking at this point. Okada is an assassin class. He's not a rider, he's not an archer, he's not even a saber. So how is he going to be able to easily eat all of those tasty crit stars he needs to do what he needs to do? Well, that is thanks to his third skill, Fencing as Swift as a Falcon rank A. It's going to increase his crit star gather rate by 300 to 500% for 1 turn. And that has, at rank 10, a 3-turn cooldown. So you're going to be able to gather stars on demand quite a bit. Now, this skill is more of a quality of life change upgrading it. It just makes Okada a lot easier to use. It isn't necessarily very important for his damage. So I would definitely recommend, as for a skill order for Okada, you go 1, 2, 3. Focus on Manslayer so we can deal that tasty servant damage. Switch over to Mind's Eye Fake to give him a little bit of extra survivability on top of some holdover crit strength. And then finally leave Fencing as Swift as a Falcon for the very last skill you level up, because that skill, just making it easier to absorb those stars. And we can do that with some other ways we're going to talk about in just a sec. Now, one thing I guarantee pretty much any JP player who has had Okada at their side for a while will tell you is that Okada Izou has a very, very good Noble Phantasm. Shimatsu Ken is an Archetype Noble Phantasm that deals damage to a single target, and that damage is between 900 to 1500%. So we're getting a nice little attack augment from this NP. I would definitely recommend, at bare minimum, if you're pulling for Okada Izou, you want to get this up to level 2, because you can see that damage jump up there from 900 to 1200% is really, really significant, and you're really going to notice the difference. We saw this previously with the Servant Asagami Fujino. An NP2 Fujino is just a lot stronger than an NP1, and the same stays true for Okada. Okada also has an additional Overcharge effect where it increases his crit star drop rate for 3 turns, and this activates first. So based on the charge, you are getting an extra 100 to 200% critical star gen. So maybe pop your Archetype Noble Phantasm. Maybe follow it up with some Archetype abilities in order to not generate critical stars like he just naturally will. But on top of that, you're going to be getting a ton of extra Noble Phantasm from those crits. And if you weren't able to fill up your NP gauge, don't worry about it. Okada can continue attacking in the following turn, continue generating those extra crit stars, which he can then eat to generate more Noble Phantasm gauge and deal more damage. It is this cycle, it perpetuates itself, and is something Okada really, really benefits from. Now, as for what servants you would pair with Okada Izou, you of course want anybody that is going to give him an arts damage boost. Not only an arts damage boost, but arts type effectiveness up is also going to increase his NP gain off of those arts cards as well. And with his potential to arts Brave Chain, that's just going to further increase his potential to loop his Noble Phantasm. So of course, the easy pick in this situation, the whale pick, is absolutely Tamamo no Mai. She is the premier art support. I really don't think I need to tell you a lot more on that. If you're looking for something a little more budget, there is of course the 4-star options, Helena Blavatsky, Queen of Sheba, as well as Caster Gilgamesh. On top of that, we've also got some other more budget art support if you're looking for that as well, in the form of Paracelsus von Hohenheim, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, and then there is also the potential of Hans Christian Andersen as well, since his buff pretty much works along everyone's lines. But a special servant I do want to mention who has not hit NA yet, but is actually a pretty good choice in my opinion to pair with Okada Izou, is Lan Ling Wang. Lan Ling Wang is coming out with the Lost Belt titled Sin. He's got some really, really good abilities that complement Okada Izou. He's got an ability to increase everybody's attack. He's got an ability to increase an ally's Noble Phantasm gauge. And he also has the ability to increase arts card effectiveness for all allies for 3 turns, as well as a % chance to increase an ally's critical star drop rate and critical strength. Both bonuses Okada Izou would really, really love to have. On top of that, Lan Ling Wang's Star Absorb is pretty comparable to Okada's at base, so you won't really have him fighting Okada Izou 4 stars too often. But of course, there are ways to remedy that. So yeah, Okada's main problem is his assassin class. He's not going to be able to reliably absorb all of those stars at base in the way that an archer or rider would be able to, so we've got to give him some craft essences that are going to be able to buff that up. Anything that gives Okada crit damage on top of giving Okada an NP damage boost are also very, very good for this magnificent assassin. So I've got a couple of recommendations as far as what you should give him. To start with, we have A Tale of Love and Hope, a craft essence that is coming out with the anniversary this year. It has an effect of increasing critical star absorption by 100%, increasing critical damage by 10%, and it also gives the equipped servant plus 50% starting Noble Phantasm gauge. So not only is Okada gonna gain more stars, deal more critical damage, but he is also going to get a head start on using that Noble Phantasm. And once the train gets rolling, gang, it doesn't stop. As for craft essences that are currently on NA, I've got to recommend Talk of the Hot Sands, also known as Conversation on the Hot Sands. Sorry, I'm reading from the wiki. You gotta forgive me, those translations aren't perfect. Conversation on the Hot Sands gives crit star absorption plus 400 along with crit damage plus 20% at base. When it's max limit broken, that goes up to 600 and 25% crit damage respectively. So Okada is going to be able to get all of those crit stars far easier than the previously recommended craft essence, and he is also going to deal a lot more crit damage. There is also, of course, Leisure Stroll, something that came out with the FGO Summer Festival, the very first anniversary, so it's kind of an old craft essence, but it does give critical star absorption plus 400 and arts performance plus 10% as well. So Okada is going to be able to gain more of those crit stars, but he's also going to get that arts boost we mentioned previously and be able to, again, reliably loot his Noble Phantasm. And finally, if you're looking for a really budget option, something that was given out for free for a lot of people, is Teacher and I. It increases crit star absorption, and it starts the battle with a 50% charge MP gauge. I use this thing on Karna all the time, and it works out really well. Should do the same for Okada. Overall, Okada Izou is a 3-star servant that rightfully deserves his limited status, because what he is designed to do, he does very well. Okada, when he is alone, is easily able to absorb all of those crit stars and reliably deal damage and reliably loop his Noble Phantasm repeatedly. With his Manslayer ability, his focus on humanoid enemies, this makes Okada Izou a very good candidate for your challenge quests. Now, if you're using Okada Izou with another group of servants, there is of course the problem he runs in with crit star absorption, but just equip any of the previously mentioned craft essences on him, and that problem ends up being pretty easily circumvented. Yes, you have to sink a craft essence slot into this character, but that's all craft essences exist for, people. It's to cover up any weaknesses those characters may have. Just remember that Okada Izou is completely limited and will not be showing up in the summon pool, the friend summon pool, the story summon pool, none of that. He won't be in those after the upcoming Gouda 3 event ends, so you need to pull for him as much as possible and really try to get at least that NP2 if you want to use him on your team. I would definitely recommend grailing him if you want to use him on your team, because those additional stats are going to do nothing but help Okada out. And if you have any strong feelings about Okada Izou one way or the other, I'm sure we all want to hear them. So why don't you go ahead and leave any of those feelings down in my comment section below. And if this video helped you, I'd really appreciate it if you left a like, maybe subscribed, maybe share this video with your friends. All of those things really help out the channel, help the channel grow, and help me make more of these videos. As always, I hope you are having a phenomenal day, and I will see you all in our next video.